Okay, so the first question that we have for this topic of plant kingdom is the artificial system of classification. So the artificial system of classifications are based on, what is it? Based on evolutionary relationship among organism, that is ruled out because phylogeny, you find it in phylogenetic system of classification. In artificial, it is ruled out. Vegetative characters or superficial morphological characters. So artificial system of classification, it is based on vegetative character or superficial morphological character. So that is the right choice. Okay. Linnaeus artificial system of classification was based on, what was it based on? Okay. So this we might not have come across in our syllabus of NCRT, but anyway, he took only on one character, andrecium structure. How many stamens were there? What type of stamens? Just on that character, he made a classification. So Linnaeus' artificial system of classification was based on andrecium structure. It was based on andrecium structure. So A is the answer for the second question. At any point of time, if you have any doubt or clarification, you can always switch on your mic and you can ask me. Okay. So the third one, giving equal weightage to vegetative and sexual characteristics is the drawback of. So which system of classification is it? Drawback. Okay. Uh, Artificial system of classification, natural system of classification, phylogenetic system of classification, numerical taxonomy. So giving equal weightage to vegetative and sexual characteristics, it is the drawback of artificial system of classification. So they gave equal weightage to both vegetative and sexual characteristics. It is a drawback of this artificial system of classification. See, the natural classification for flowering plants was it given by Carl Linnaeus, R.H. Whitaker, that is Robert Whitaker, the five kingdom classification, you know about it. So George Bentham and Joseph Dalton Hooker. So Bentham and Hooker's classification, we call it as. See, these two people, this British biologist, botanist, they have also prepared Flora of Madras Presidency. If you want to study some of the plants of within Bangalore that you find some endemic plants, you can always refer this Flora of Madras Presidency written by Bentham and Hooker. Okay, then the D one is Engler and Prantl. So natural classification for flowering plants, it was given by whom? So Bentham and Hooker, they gave this natural classification for flowering plants. The natural classification for flowering plants was given by Bentham and Hooker's system of classification. So C is the answer for fourth one. Fifth one, natural system classification system. What does it consider? Okay, morphology and phytochemistry only, cytological information only, anatomy, embryology, and evolutionary history, ultrastructure, anatomy, embryology, and phytochemistry. So natural classification systems considers anatomy, embryology, and evolutionary history they consider. So C is the answer for fifth one, anatomy, embryology, and evolutionary history is considered for wrong statement regarding numerical taxonomy. When you get such questions, you should be able to assess. So there would be three correct statements. One would be wrong statement. So you have to identify the wrong statement among the correct statement. Okay. So it is based on all observable characteristics. Numerical taxonomy, yes. It is easily carried out using computers, yes. It considers mainly chemical constituents of plants. This is a wrong statement because numerical taxonomy doesn't give priority for chemical constituents of plants. So that is a different system of classification. If they give priority for chemical constituent of plant, it is called as chemotaxonomy. Okay, so the C is the wrong statement. So the next one, seventh one, which of the following branch of taxonomy is based on cytological information like chromosome number, structure, and behavior? So it is very easy to say this answer. Cytotaxonomy is a branch of taxonomy which is based on cytological information like chromosome number, structure and chromosome behavior. So cytotaxonomy is the answer, seventh one. Example for filamentous form of algae are. So is it Eulothrix and Spirogyra, or is it Eulothrix and Chlamydomonas? See, Chlamydomonas is single-celled. Volvox is a colonial form. It is not filamentous. Eulothrix is filamentous. Spirogyra is also filamentous. So Volvox and Chlamydomonas, one is colonial form, another is unicellular. Eulothrix and Volvox, one is filamentous form, and Volvox is colonial form. So the Eulothrix and Spirogyra, both of them are filamentous form of algae. Eighth one is A is the answer. In algae, most common type of asexual reproduction is by. So what type of asexual reproduction is noticed in algae? So it is by the formation of zoospores. So zoospores is the most common type of asexual reproduction which is observed in algae. The tenth one, so we have this wherein they select the classes of algae. So it is very easy for you to select among them. See, Psilopsida, Lycopsida, Spinopsida, and Pteropsida. It is the classification of pteridophytes. Chlorophyceae, green algae, Phaeophyceae, brown algae, and Rhodophyceae, red algae, is the classification of the algae. So the 10th one, B is the answer. C, they have given Hepaticopsida, liverworts, Anthoceratopsida, hornworts, and Bryopsida, mosses. So this is the classification of the bryophytes. Then Cycadopsida, Coniferopsida, and Neetopsida, it is the classification of gymnosperms. So most of the time when you are getting prepared for the multiple choice questions, where you also try to understand why they are wrong answers. So sometimes for this one question, you have got prepared for additional three questions, isn't it? So the classes of algae, it is very easy to say Chlorophyceae, Phaeophyceae, and Rhodophyceae. That is the answer. But what is this Xylopsida, Lycopsida, Spinopsida, and Pteropsida? It is a classification of pteridophyte. Hepaticopsida, Anthoceratopsida, and Bryopsida is the classification of bryophytes. Cycadopsida, Coniferopsida, and Neetopsida, it is the classification of gymnosperms. Okay, so the 11th question that we have is, of the following, which group of algae are used as food? Of these following, which group of algae are used as food? So the beneficial aspects of algae, so we have discussed about that. See, is it Porphyra, Laminaria, and Sargassum? Or is it Volvox, Fucus, and Sargassum? Eulothrix, Cara, and Porphyra, Gelidium, and Gracillarium. See, Gelidium and Gracilaria are utilized for preparing agar-agar. So they are ruled out. Eulothrix is filamentous algae, Cara and Porphyra is consumed. But Eulothrix and Cara are not edible algae. So Volvox, Fucus, and Sargassum. Sargassum is edible algae, but Volvox and Fucus are not edible algae. So Porphyra, Laminaria, and Sargassum, this group of algae, all of them are consumed as food. They are edible algae. So 11th one, A is the answer. See, agar, which is used in the preparation of culture media, the base of this culture media in microbiology labs. So they are prepared using this agar. So from which algae is it extracted? Agar is obtained from, I've already told you, it is obtained from Gelidium and Gracilaria. So it is obtained from Gelidium and Gracilaria. 12th one, D is the answer. See, select the protein-rich unicellular algae that are used as food supplements by space travelers. So the protein-rich unicellular algae, it is unicellular, not multicellular. So Gelidium is ruled out, and Gracilaria is also ruled out. Sargassum is ruled out. So they should be unicellular algae. So Chlorella and Spirulina, so the chlorella and spirulina are the protein-rich unicellular algae. So that is the answer. Chlorella and spirulina are the protein-rich unicellular algae that are used as food supplements by space travelers. Algine and carrageen are hydrocolloids, that is water-holding substances, which are produced from. So are they produced from the red algae and brown algae respectively, green algae and red algae respectively? So green algae is not involved, so that is ruled out. So brown algae and red algae respectively, red algae and green algae respectively. So C, B and D, it is ruled out. So algin and carrageen are hydrocolloids. So they are obtained from the algin and carrageen are hydrocolloids which are obtained from red algae. So 1 minute. So they are obtained from brown algae and red algae respectively. Algin is obtained from brown algae. They have alginates. Carrageen is obtained from red algae respectively. So C is the 14C is the answer. The following figures respectively represent. So this is the Volvox colonial form of green algae, Chlamydomonas and Cara. So let us see if we have the same combination. 15th A, they have Chlamydomonas, no, Volvox, Chlamydomonas and Cara. 15th, the answer is C. So you should see such sort of diagrams will be given and you have to identify them in the correct sequence. Here it is. First one is Volvox, second one is Chlamydomonas, third is Cara. So 15th C is the answer. Okay. So the 16th one, the chlorophyce are usually green colored due to the pigments chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. So the green algae are usually green colored due to the pigments chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. So 16th one, A is the answer. 17th one, which of the following statement is wrong regarding green algae? They are unicellular, colonial, or filamentous. So wrong statement means there is one wrong statement, three of them are correct. So we should identify that wrong statement. The chloroplast may be discoid, plate-like, reticulate, cup-shaped, spiral, or ribbon-shaped. So that is the second point that they have given. And see, most of them have one or more pyrenoids located in their chloroplast. They have a rigid cell wall made up of an inner layer of pectose and an outer layer of cellulose. So D is the wrong statement. First three statements are correct, and D is the wrong statement for green algae. So 18th one, in chlorophyce, the sexual reproduction is anisogamous or oogamous, isogamous and anisogamous, isogamous or oogamous, isogamous, anisogamous or oogamous type. So 18th one, D is the correct answer. 18th one, D is the correct answer. So it is isogamous, anisogamous or oogamous type. The 19th one, given below are some statements regarding Pheophyce. One of the statement is false. Pick it out. So they have chlorophyll A, C, carotenoids, and xanthophylls. So we are talking about Pheophyce is a brown algae. So there are three correct points and one is wrong. Food is stored as Floridian starch. The vegetative cells have a cellulosic wall covered by a gelatinous coating of algae. So brown algae has algae, that is true. Plant body is attached to substratum by a holdfast and has a stalks type and leaf-like photosynthetic organ, which we call it as frond. So the 19th one is B is the answer. B is the wrong statement. So food is stored as Floridian starch. That is the wrong statement. So 19th B is the incorrect statement. The following figures respectively represent. So seeing its structure, you should be able to say what are they. The first one, see the last one I've identified it to be dictyota because they have this dichotomous branching. So it is very easy to identify that. So dictyota. So the remaining we have to identify. So they have given, see there, then there is only two options, A and B that we can decide because I'm very sure about this dictyota. So is the A one laminaria, B is it fucus, and C is dictyota, or is it fucus, laminaria, and dictyota? So the right answer for the 20th is the A, which is uh, A is laminaria, first one, second one is fucus, third one is dictyota. So that is the right combination. 20th A is the answer. So 21st, so pick the odd one out. Ectocarpus, Sargassum, Fucus, Gracilaria. See, Gracilaria is the odd one out, whereas Ectocarpus, Sargassum, and Fucus, they all belong to the same variety of algae. So the Gracilaria is the wrong one out. The odd one out among them is Gracilaria. Okay. Mannitol and laminarin are the stored food in. So which type of algae are they stored food? So mannitol and laminarian are the stored food in. Is it chlorophyce, pheophyce, rhodophyce, all kinds of algae? It is pheophyce is the answer. So the C one would be Floridian starch. So B, pheophyce, that is the brown algae, has mannitol and laminarian as the stored food. See, the phycoerythrin is found in, where is the R phycoerythrin found in? So is it found in chlorophyce and pheophyce, pheophyce and rhodophyce, or is it rhodophyce only, or is it pheophyce only? So the 23rd question, the answer is C, the rhodophyce only. So it is noticed only in the rhodophyce. Identify the figures given below. So they have the frond. So one is uh, the Porphyra and Polysiphonia, if there is an yes. So 24th B is the answer, that is Porphyra and Polysiphonia. 25th Floridian starch is structurally very similar to amylopectin and glycogen, inulin, and or is it cellulose and hemicellulose and chitin. So the Floridian starch is similar, very similar to amylopectin and glycogen. So A is the answer. 25th, A is the answer. So the 26th question, in red algae, sexual reproduction is it isogamous, anisogamous, oogamous, or all of this? In red algae, sexual reproduction is isogamous, anisogamous, Oogamous or all of this. C is the answer. Oogamous type of sexual reproduction you can notice in Rhodophyceae or red algae. Match the following. So in the classes Chlorophyceae, flagellar number and position of insertion is the second column. The classes are in the first column. So the 27th one, so we have to identify the right choices for it. So the Chlorophyceae has 2 to 8 equal flagella, okay, and they are apical in position. Then Phaeophyceae, so they are having two flagella, unequal uh, and lateral. So Phaeophyceae. So Chlorophyceae is 2, Phaeophyceae is 3, then obviously Rhodophyceae is 1. So Rhodophyceae, they are non-motile. So they are absent. So the flagella is absent in Rhodophyceae. So D is the answer for 27. That is 2, 3, 1. Which group of plants is known as amphibians of the plant kingdom? Obviously, it is bryophytes, which are known as amphibians of the plant kingdom. Select the wrong statement from the following regarding bryophytes. So they have given four part of it. They can live in soil but need water for sexual reproduction. Their body is thallus-like and prostrate or erect and attached to the substratum by unicellular or multicellular rhizoids. The body is more differentiated than algae and has true roots, stems, or leaves. The main plant body is haploid. So, among this, which is the wrong statement among this? So, the wrong statement is they do not have true roots, stem, or leaves. So, C is the wrong statement. The fuel peat is produced from a moss called sphagnum, funaria, polytrichum, or is it markensia? So from which moss are they produced? So the peat is produced from a moss called sphagnum. So 30th A is the right answer. Sphagnum is the answer. One of the following is not a moss selected. That is, they are not Bryopsida selected. Funaria, sphagnum, polytrichum, they are all mosses. Markensia, it comes under the hepatic opsida. So 31st, D is not a moss. Markensia is not a bryopsida, neither is it a moss. So which is correctly labeled? So you should even look into the uh, label diagrams. Okay. So A, B, and C. So which is correctly labeled? So there are different labelings like Anthridiophore is A, B is Gemma cup, C is rhizoids. So in all the answers, rhizoids is correct. C is rhizoids, they have given it. So now you have to identify whether it is Anthridiophore or is it Archegoniophore. So, but they are not Gemma cup. So C and D is ruled out. It has to be either A or B. So the B is Gemma cup. So that Gemma cup rhizoids are confirmed. So now we have to identify whether A is Anthridiophore or is it Archegoniophore. So the 32nd, the answer is it is Archegoniophore. So the A is Archegoniophore, B is Jama cup, and C is rhizoid. So look into the diagrams carefully when you are getting prepared for the NEET exams. Even the diagrams, labeling, and structures, you have to analyze it. So B is the answer. A is Archegoniophore. You can see almost flower-like structure on them, sunflower-like it looks. Then B is Gemma cup, okay, and they have rhizoid. C is rhizoid. That is 32nd. B is the answer. Regarding asexual reproduction in liverworts, asexual reproduction in liverworts, that is, it is a bryophyte, which is true statement. So from hepatic opsida, which is true statement. So asexual reproduction is by fragmentation. So asexual reproduction is by fragmentation of thalli or by the formation of gemmae. So we have to find out the true statement. So three statements are wrong. Uh, or it can be Gemma are green multicellular asexual buds that develop into small receptacles called gemma cup on the thalli. Gemma are detached from the parent body and germinate to form new individuals. See, all the three statements are true statements. All the three statements are correct. So D is the answer for this 33rd. 34th, observe the following figure and select the correct option. So what does it belong to? So I can see there are two types of leaves, microphyls and macrophyls, and this looks like Selaginella. Let us see which is the correct option. So it represents Selaginella belonging to Lycopsida. So the 34th C is the answer. It belongs to Selaginella. It represents Selaginella belonging to Lycopsida. 35th, there is examples for it. Xylopsida, the example is xylotum, A2. So all of them are 2. A is 2. Lycopsida, example for that is Selaginella, A2, B3. So C and D you can shortlist now. B3, then C, Spinopsida, Equisetum, C4, and D, Pteropsida adiantum. So D is the answer. 2341 is the answer. So that is the 35th question. D is the answer. So Psilopsida, it is xylotum. Lycopsida, it is Selaginella. Spinopsida, it is Equisetum. Pteropsida, it is adiantum. So they are, that is how you are got these. D as the answer. 2341. In pteridophytes, the spores germinate to give rise to inconspicuous, small, multicellular, free-living, mostly photosynthetic thalloid gametophytes. So called as prothallus, sporangia, antheridia, archegonia. So what are they called as? So 36th, it is A. Uh, that is prothallus. So 36th is A prothallus. In bryophytes and pteridophytes, the dominant phase is gametophyte, the dominant phase is sporophyte, the dominant phase is gametophyte and sporophyte respectively, the dominant phase is sporophyte and gametophyte respectively. So the dominant phase is this gametophyte in bryophytes and dominant phase in pteridophytes is sporophyte. So C is the answer. 37th, C is the answer. 38th in Selaginella equisetum, sporophylls form distinct compact structures called strobili or cones. So 38th, B is the answer. A prothallus, that is wrong. B strobili or cones, that is the right answer. In Selaginella equisetum, you find this cones or strobili. They are formed by the fusion of the sporophylls. Okay. Most of the pteridophytes are homosporous, heterosporous, both homosporous and heterosporous, neither homosporous nor heterosporous. So the 39th, the answer is A, majority of them are homosporous. A few of them are heterosporous, but they are exceptions. Homosporous is the major attribute of most of them. Gymnosperms are the plants in which the ovules are enclosed by ovary wall and remain exposed before fertilization. This is wrong. The ovules are enclosed by ovary wall. This is also wrong. The ovules are not enclosed by ovary wall and remain exposed before and after fertilization. The ovules are not enclosed by ovary wall and remain exposed before fertilization. C is probably the answer for 40th is C. That is, the ovules are not enclosed by ovary wall and they remain exposed before the ovules are exposed before as well as after fertilization. C is the answer. The tallest gymnosperm is so the redwood tree, that is sequoia. So 41st, B is the answer. 42nd, in plants like cycas, Small specialized roots are associated with nitrogen fixing cyanobacteria. Such roots are called as Cycas is a gymnosperm. It is called as living fossil. So the specialized roots are associated with nitrogen fixing cyanobacteria. You notice this in uh, such roots are called coralloid roots. 42nd, A is the answer. 43rd, microsporophyll bearing cone of pinus can be compared to male flower of an angiosperm. So microsporophyll bearing cone of pinus can be compared to male flower of an angiosperm. 43rd A is the answer. 44th, megasporophyll are arranged spirally and acropatally in the on the central axis of the female cone of uh, on the central axis of the female cone of Pinus, bearing two megasporangia on adaxial side. So you should write it as two megasporangia on adaxial side. So 44th B is the answer. So endosperm of gymnosperm is um haploid and it is a 45th, isn't it? 45th, it's a haploid that I'm sure about, and it is pre-fertilization. So endosperm is formed before fertilization. So endosperm of gymnosperm is haploid and it is a pre-fertilization product. That is before fertilization it is formed. Anemophily is the rule of angiosperms. Okay, that is anemophily is the rule in, rather we can say it as monocots. 46, the answer that they have given is B. 46th is B. Gymnosperms, it is a rule. Even in monocots, some of them are insect pollinated is there. But in gymnosperms, it is a rule that pollination, anemophily is the rule in gymnosperms. That is, almost all the plants are wind pollinated in case of gymnosperms. So 46th B is the answer. Double fertilization means fusion of one antipodal cell with egg cell and one synergid cell with antipodal cell. That is wrong. One of the polar nuclei and a male gamete and the egg and male gamete. One of the male gametes with the secondary nucleus and the other male gamete with the egg. So C is the answer. So for 47th, C is the answer. Let me again go through one male gamete fusion with polar nuclei and the other fusing with one of the antipodals. That is wrong. So C is the answer. So even though your answer key gives D as answer, C is the answer. So one of the male gametes fuses with the secondary nucleus and the other male gamete with the egg cell. That is the right answer, C. A plant with 24 chromosomes in microspore mother cell shall have dash number of chromosome in its endosperm. So 24 chromosomes in microspore mother cell. So the haploid nature of it will be 12, whereas the endosperm, angiosperm is triploid. So 12 into 3, 36. So 36 chromosomes will be found in the endosperm of angiosperm. So 48C is the answer. So you should calculate it on that basis. So here they have given it as 48. So 12 plus 12, 24, 24 plus 36. So C is the answer in case of 48, even though your books they are giving it as 48, it is wrong. Microspore mother cell is 24. So the sperm cell will be 12 chromosomes it will have, and the nuclei they are also going to be haploid, both of them. So 12 plus 12. So 24 plus 12 is 36. C is the answer. So even though your answer key they have given fourth as answer, it is wrong. Given below are some statements regarding haplontic pattern of plant life cycle. So in this, sporophytic generation is represented only by the zygote. So haplontic life cycle. There are no free-living sporophytes. Zygote undergoes mitosis to form haploid spores. They divide meiotically to form gametophyte. The dominant photosynthetic phase is the free living gametophyte. So these are things that they have given. So we have to identify algae such as Volvox pyrogoera and some species of Chlamydomonas show haplontic life cycle. So they are the statements that they have given regarding this haplontic pattern of life cycle. So we have to identify the which are the false statements. Okay, so that we have to identify for the 49th question. Zygote undergoes mitosis to form haploid spores is a wrong statement. Okay, and fourth one, they divide meiotically to form gametophyte. That is also a wrong statement. So third and fourth statements are false. So C is the 49C is the answer. The figure given below represents, see, sporophytic generation is dominant, gametophytic generation is reduced. So you can call it as what is the cycle? Is it haplontic life cycle, diplontic life cycle has seen in gymnosperms, or haplodiplontic life cycle, or is it haplo diplontic life cycle as seen in gymnosperms and angiosperms? So 50th answer is B, diplontic life cycle as seen in gymnosperms and angiosperms because predominantly diploid stage is there. So this is a diplontic life cycle as seen in gymnosperms and angiosperms. So B is the answer. So that completes our discussion of this multiple choice questions for the chapter Plant Kingdom. Okay. So if you have any doubts or queries from any question, you can just inquire me. There are some wrong answers in the answer key, so you should be careful there. So anyway, do you have any doubts or clarifications? Please let me know. You can switch on your mic and